Hello, my lovely ladies, my sweet friends. It's me again, your Valerie. Tell me honestly, right now, while you're watching this video, are you sitting down? Take a look down at your feet. Look closely at your ankles. Do you see that bulge, that soft, puffy cushion of water wrapping around your ankle bone? Listen, 3 years ago, I didn't even have ankle bones. I couldn't see them. I would look down and just see tree trunks, tight, shiny, bluish tree trunks. By the evening, my skin was stretched so tight it practically reflected light. I'd take off my socks and there would be deep red grooves from the elastic. If I pressed my finger into my shin, it left a pit, and that pit would just stay there. I tried everything. Water pills from the doctor. My heart would race, and the water just came right back the next day. Compression socks. Just putting them on at my age is an Olympic sport, and they barely helped. I even stopped drinking water, which only made it worse. And then, one day, I was cleaning out an old dresser. I found a little notebook, my mother's old journal, and inside was a recipe she simply called "for heavy, waterlogged legs." 2 pages, 2 ingredients, maybe $3 total in the spice aisle at Walmart. Within 5 days, I saw my ankle bones for the first time in 3 years. Today, I'm going to give you this exact recipe, and I'll explain exactly why those expensive pharmacy pills didn't work and why these 2 cheap ingredients did. Make sure you watch to the end, because in the middle of the video, I'm going to reveal the one massive mistake everyone makes, the reason your swelling keeps coming back the very next day. Do you know what the worst part about edema and swollen legs is? It's not even the physical pain. Pain we can handle. Women are used to pain. The worst part is the shame. I remember my granddaughter, Katie. She was about 8 at the time. She ran up, hugged my legs, and innocently asked, "Grandma, why are your legs so thick at the bottom like an elephant?" I forced a laugh and patted her head. Then I went into the bathroom, locked the door, and cried. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's when summer comes and you can't wear anything but those wide, ugly sandals with the Velcro straps. When you look at cute shoes in the store and know there's no point in even trying them on. By 5 p.m. your foot is so swollen it won't even fit in a slipper. I completely stopped buying shoes with laces. I only bought slip-ons. And bending down to tie shoes, that's a whole other nightmare. You know the feeling, bending over, your belly pressing into your ribs, your ears start ringing, your face gets flushed. Add swollen feet to that, and your fingers can barely reach down. It's just easier to give up on laces entirely. Summer is pure torture. It's 85 degrees outside, but you're wearing long pants or a maxi skirt because you're ashamed to show your bare legs. The blue, puffy skin, those heavy veins. You walk down the street thinking about one thing: getting home, sitting down, and putting your feet up. Your friends invite you out, to the farmer's market, for a walk in the park, and you make up excuses. My back hurts, I have a headache, but really you're just terrified your legs will give out, or that someone will see you waddling and stopping to rest every 100 feet. I remember taking a 4-hour train ride to visit my daughter. I sat perfectly still, terrified to take my shoes off because I knew I'd never get them back on. When I got off the train, my daughter looked down at my feet and quietly said, "Mum, you need to see a doctor." And I told her, "I did see a doctor, honey. I did." Let's talk about that. Doctors told me all sorts of things. One said it's my heart, another said my kidneys, a third wrote a prescription for a diuretic, a water pill, and sent me home. I took the pill. I ran to the bathroom every 20 minutes. My heart was palpitating, and I woke up screaming with leg cramps at night because it flushed all my potassium out. The swelling? It went away for a day, maybe 2, and then it came back, seemingly angrier than before. No doctor ever explained to me why this happens, why the water pools there, why it's worse in the evening, why a salty pickle makes it a disaster the next morning. I had to figure it out myself, through my mother's journal, through old herbal remedies, and by finally listening to my own body instead of poisoning it with chemicals. And now I'm going to explain it to you, simply. No medical jargon, and no $100 prescriptions. All right, my dears, let me explain what is actually happening in our legs. No big medical words, just the way my mother explained it to me at the kitchen table over a cup of tea. Imagine a beautiful mountain river, clean, fast, flowing. The water rushes by, carrying away leaves, dirt, and debris. The banks are clean. You can see the bottom. It's perfect. Now imagine a massive old tree falls right across that river. The water stops flowing. It just sits there. What happens to standing water? It gets cloudy, it starts to stink, the banks turn into a swamp. That beautiful river is gone, now it's a stagnant bog. That is exactly how our lymphatic system works. It's a network of tiny tubes running all through our bodies, from our head to our toes. And through these tubes flows lymph. It's our body's internal plumbing. It collects all the garbage, excess water, salts, toxins, inflammation, and washes it away. As long as the lymph is flowing, everything is great. Legs are light, ankles are thin. But here's what happens as we get older, especially past 60. Our blood vessels lose their elasticity. Our muscles, which actually act as the pump for this system, get weaker. We walk less, we sit more, and the lymph stops moving, just like that river with the fallen tree. That stagnant, standing water is your swelling. It pools at the bottom because, against gravity, it's incredibly hard for the body to push it all the way back up. That's why it's in your legs, not your hands. That's why it's worse at night, the water collected all day. And it's why it's a bit better in the morning, because lying flat all night finally let it drain a little. Now about salt. Why are your legs like tree trunks after eating salty ham or a pickle? Salt acts like a magnet for water. Where there's salt, water rushes in and stays there, and your stagnant lymph tubes are too clogged to wash it away. Now do you see why water pills only work for a day? Because they just aggressively force the water out through your kidneys, but the underlying problem is still there. The tubes are still clogged, the fallen tree is still in the river, the water just builds right back up a day later. What we actually need to do is not violently force the water out. We need to open those tubes, get the lymph flowing again, remove the tree from the river. And that is exactly what the 2 simple ingredients from my mother's notebook do. One clears and opens the lymphatic pathways from the inside. The other acts like a vacuum, pulling the stagnant water out through the skin, softly, gently, with no cramps, no potassium loss, no heart palpitations. And the first ingredient is probably sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now. My lovely ladies, I need to tell you something incredibly important, something no doctor told me in all my years of sitting in waiting rooms. You are not to blame. It is not your fault that the pills didn't work. It's not your fault that you wore those awful compression socks all day, took them off at night, and woke up swollen again. It's not your fault that you stopped drinking water and only felt worse. This isn't a lack of willpower. It's not because you didn't follow directions. It's because you were given the wrong treatment. Look at what happens at the pharmacy. You go to the counter and say, "My legs swell up like balloons at night." The pharmacist smiles and hands you a little bottle. Lasix, furosemide, spironolactone. What do these pills do? They go straight to your kidneys and shout, "Dump the water, all of it, right now." Your kidneys go into overdrive. You pee all day. The next morning, your legs look a bit better. You're happy. The doctor is happy. But here's what happens next. Along with that water, your body flushes out your potassium. Potassium is food for your heart, your muscles, and your nerves. That's why you wake up screaming in the middle of the night with a calf cramp. That's why you feel so weak you can barely walk to the kitchen. That's why your heart starts fluttering. So you complain to the doctor about the cramps. He writes you a second prescription for a potassium pill. Now you're taking 2 pills. Then they give you something for your stomach because the pills upset your digestion. Before you know it, you're taking 5 pills a day, spending hundreds of dollars a month, and the swelling still isn't gone. It's just hiding temporarily. Because nobody cleared the tree out of the river, the lymph is still stagnant. Pills don't open lymphatic channels. They just aggressively wring out your kidneys like a wet sponge. And here's a fact that absolutely shocked me. If you read the tiny warning label on popular water pills, it actually says, "Use with caution in patients with impaired lymphatic drainage." The manufacturer is literally telling you to be careful if you have lymph issues, which is the exact reason we have swollen legs in the first place. It's a vicious cycle. Now, I am not against doctors, God forbid. For serious diseases, you listen to your doctor. But when it comes to stagnant lymph, gravity, age, and swelling, nature handles this far better than a chemical pill. Gently, deeply, and without side effects. Are you ready to find out what it is? Here it is. Look closely. The common bay leaf. The exact same little plastic tub or bag you buy at Walmart or the grocery store for $2. We're used to throwing it into stews, soups, or marinades. To us, it's just a spice to make food smell good. But when I opened my mother's journal, I saw that for her, the bay leaf was powerful medicine. She wrote, "The bay leaf is the golden key to stagnant water." I didn't believe it at first. How could it be? I'd bought $40 creams, I took expensive vitamins, and the answer is a soup leaf. But I decided to try it. What did I have to lose? $2? So I started researching why this works. It turns out bay leaves are a massive concentrate of organic acids and essential oils. Remember the fallen tree in the river, the clogged lymph? Bay leaf acts as a natural biological solvent. Here's the secret. Your swelling isn't just pure water. It's water trapped by salt. Salt holds on to water like a bulldog. When you take a water pill, you force the pure water out, but the salt structure stays behind in the tissue. That's why the water just comes back to it. Bay leaf works differently. Its essential oils penetrate deep into the tissues and gently begin to dissolve those stagnant salt deposits. It breaks up the roadblock. Once the salt is cleared out, the water has nothing to hold on to. It voluntarily leaves the tissues and flushes naturally through your lymphatic system. I call the bay leaf my internal broom. It doesn't violently squeeze your organs like pills do. It just sweeps the garbage out of your pipes so the river can flow again. And the best part, it doesn't wreck your kidneys. It doesn't make your heart race. It just restores your body's natural plumbing. When I first made my mother's infusion, a strange thing happened. 2 days later, I woke up and felt lightness. Not an empty stomach lightness, but physical lightness in my legs. It felt like someone had taken heavy lead weights off my ankles while I slept. I walked to the mirror, looked down, and I saw my ankle bone, a little pale bump I hadn't seen in 3 years. I literally burst into tears, not from sadness, but from realizing that there was a way out, and it costs less than a cup of coffee. But my dears, the bay leaf alone is only half the battle. It opens the doors and sweeps the inside, but to get the water out quickly, to tighten that puffy skin, we need a second hero, one that will physically pull the water out through your pores. And now, my golden ladies, we move to our second hero. You already have it in your kitchen. It's salt. But please listen to me very carefully right now, because this is where women make a mistake and then tell me in the comments, "Val, it didn't work." Look at this. This is regular, white, refined table salt. It's pretty. It flows nicely out of the shaker, but for our treatment it is totally useless. Why? Because it's been bleached, heated, and stripped of all its natural minerals. It's just a dead chemical. It's fine for French fries, but it won't heal your legs. We need this: coarse sea salt, Himalayan pink salt, or natural rock salt. The chunky, unrefined stuff you can buy in a big bag for $3 or $4. This is our savior. You might ask, "Val, what's the difference? Salt is salt." The difference is massive. Remember how the bay leaf works from the inside, opening the tubes. Well, all that stagnant water is still sitting deep in your leg tissues like a swamp. It needs a massive push to leave. This is where coarse salt steps in. In biology, it's called osmosis, but we aren't in a college lecture, so I'll explain it simply. Imagine salt as an incredibly powerful, greedy magnet or a vacuum cleaner. When we apply the right salt mixture to the skin, the salt literally sucks the excess fluid right out through your pores. But it doesn't just pull water, it pulls out everything the water was holding: toxins, inflammation, and cellular waste that make your legs feel heavy. It's like a deep spring cleaning. The bay leaf opened the windows, and the salt is the vacuum pulling the dirt outside. I remember the first time I made this compress. I wrapped my swollen ankle, waited 40 minutes, took it off, and gasped. My leg, which had felt like an overinflated balloon, was suddenly soft. I pressed my finger into my shin, and instead of leaving a deep pit that stayed for a minute, the skin bounced right back. It was an incredible feeling, like someone just let the air out of a heavy tire. And again, think about the price. A $3 bag of sea salt does what $50 pharmacy creams can't, because it works using pure laws of physics. It literally pulls the water out. But my friends, just pouring salt into a bathtub won't do. To make this vacuum work at maximum power, to penetrate deep into the joints, we need a secret activator. Without it, the salt is slow. With it, it drains the water in hours. Now listen closely. Many of you are probably thinking, "Valerie, I've put Epsom salt in my bath before, and my legs still swelled up the next day." And I'll tell you why. You didn't activate it properly. You just used it. For salt to become a medicine, it needs a key, and that key is heat. Think of your skin like a door. If it's cold, the door is locked tight. No matter how good your sea salt is, it won't get through a locked door. It'll just sit on the surface, maybe soften the skin a bit, but it won't reach the deep lymph where the problem is. Heat is the key that unlocks the door. When we heat the salt, something amazing happens. The pores open wide, the blood vessels expand, and that is when our salt vacuum turns on at full power. The heat physically pushes the salt and the healing bay leaf oils deep, deep down to the exact spot where the water is trapped. But here is a vital warning, something my mother taught me. She said, "Valerie, melt the swelling, don't burn the skin. Your salt must never be burning hot. If you heat it like you're frying bacon, you will burn yourself. A burn causes inflammation. Inflammation causes more swelling. We'd be making it worse. We need living heat. Heat that feels soothing, like a warm hug, not a burn. And here is the magic word, synergy. When you put two good things together, they become 10 times stronger. Warm salt alone pulls water. Good. Bay leaf alone opens the pathways. Good. But when you combine them, when you mix bay leaf oil directly into the warm salt, pure magic happens. The heat opens the door, the salt acts as a vacuum to pull the water out, and as the water leaves, the bay leaf oil slips inside to scrub the lymphatic tubes clean. The first time I combined them, I put the warm, fragrant compress on my leg, wrapped it in an old wool scarf, and fell asleep. Do you know what I felt the next morning? Lightness. Not just less swelling, true lightness, like my legs were 10 years younger, and all this for pennies. Are you ready? Grab a pen and paper. I'm going to show you step by step how to make this slimming elixir for your legs. Write it down, because the details matter. All right, my dears, enough talking. Let's get to work. First, I'll show you how to make our base, the bay leaf oil. Do not buy this at the pharmacy or health food store for $20. They load it with preservatives. We are making our own, pure, living oil. Take a standard package of dried bay leaves. Make sure the leaves are a nice olive green color, dry and free of black spots. If they are grey or black, throw them away. They've lost their power. We need to extract the essential oils. To do this, we must crush them. I just use my hands. Hear that crunch? The power is in that crunch. I break them into small pieces. If you have a coffee grinder, you can pulse them into a powder for a faster extraction, but I like the old-fashioned way. While I'm crushing them, I think about how light my legs will feel. I think about chasing my grandkids around the park. Your mindset is part of the healing too. Take a clean, dry glass mason jar. Put the crushed leaves inside. Fill it about 1/3 of the way up. Now the oil. Forget refined, clear vegetable oil. That's dead fat. We need a good, unrefined oil. Extra virgin olive oil is perfect, or cold-pressed sunflower or avocado oil. Why? Because they are packed with vitamin E, which is your skin's best friend. It carries the bay leaf deep into the tissue. Pour the oil into the jar until it covers the leaves by about 1 inch or 2. Now comes the hard part. Patience. Put the jar in a warm, dark place. I put mine in a kitchen cabinet, away from sunlight, wrapped in an old dish towel so it stays cozy. Leave it there for a week. Here's a little secret. Every day when you make your morning coffee, go to the cabinet, give the jar a little shake, and just say, "Heal me." Sounds silly, right? But connecting with your healing process makes a difference. After a week, the oil will turn darker, thicker, and smell incredible, like the woods, like spices, like health. Now, I know some of you are in pain tonight. If your legs are burning right now and you can't wait a week, here's the quick method. Put your glass jar in a saucepan of warm water, a double boiler. Let it sit on the lowest possible stove heat for about 40 minutes. But listen to me, do not boil it. If the oil boils, you destroy the medicine. It just needs a gentle, loving warmth. Once it's done, don't strain the leaves out. Let them sit at the bottom. They will keep infusing the oil to the very last drop. There's our liquid gold. Now let's make the compress that will suck the water out of your legs tonight. All right, the main event. Pay close attention to every detail. Take about a cup of your coarse sea salt or rock salt. Pour it into a skillet. Cast iron is best because it holds heat beautifully. Now, crucial step, turn the burner on low. We are warming the salt, not cooking it. How do you check? Run your fingers through it. It should feel deeply warm, pleasantly hot, but you shouldn't have to pull your hand away. If it burns your fingers, let it cool down. Our skin is delicate. We want to soothe it, not scorch it. Next, we need a pouch. I just use a clean 100% cotton tube sock or a little pouch made from an old pillowcase. I am begging you, no polyester. Synthetic fabrics don't breathe. They can melt and they block the healing properties of the salt. Only natural cotton or linen. Pour the warm salt into your cotton sock, and now for the magic. Take 1 teaspoon of our bay leaf oil and drop it right into the warm salt inside the sock. Shake it up. Smell that? It's intoxicating. The warm salt absorbs the oil and they become a team. How do we apply it? First, wipe your swollen ankle with a warm, damp washcloth to wake up the pores. Then place the salt pouch directly against the worst part of the swelling, usually right over the ankle bone or that puffy cushion. If it feels a little too hot, put a thin paper towel between the sock and your skin until it cools a bit. And the final step, wrap it up. I take an old wool scarf or an ace bandage and gently wrap it around my ankle to hold the pouch in place. Wool traps the heat perfectly, creating a mini sauna right on your leg. Leave it on for 40 minutes. Sit back in your favorite chair, close your eyes. Imagine that warm salt acting like a gentle vacuum, pulling out all the lead, the heaviness, and the trapped water. You will literally feel a deep, comforting warmth spreading through your leg. This is your time. Stop worrying about the grandkids or the grocery bills. Say to your body, "Thank you, legs, for carrying me my whole life. Now I'm taking care of you." When you take the compress off 40 minutes later, the skin will be pink and happy, and you will see the swelling visibly reduced. But, my friends, to seal the deal so the water doesn't rush back tomorrow, we have one final crucial step. Before you go to sleep. Before you pull the covers up to sleep, we do one last thing. This is a very old European remedy. You'll need a little bottle of standard iodine from the pharmacy. Usually costs $2 or $3. Iodine isn't just an antiseptic. In this treatment, it is our transporter. Here's the science. The salt and bay oil opened the pores and pulled out water. But to get deep healing into the joint, we need blood flow. Iodine acts like a homing beacon for your blood. It creates a very mild, safe stimulation on the skin that causes your capillaries to open wide. Fresh, oxygen-rich blood rushes to the area. Blood is life. It brings nutrients that wash out the last bits of stagnant lymph. But you must apply it correctly. Do not just paint a giant brown patch of iodine on your leg. That will dry out your skin or cause a chemical burn. Take a Q-tip, dip it in the iodine, and draw a grid on your skin, like a tic-tac-toe board over your ankle, lines about an inch apart. Why a grid? Because that specific pattern stimulates the nerves and circulation perfectly without overwhelming the skin. Here is a fascinating trick. Watch how fast the iodine fades overnight. If you wake up and the grid is completely gone, your body was starved for iodine. It's a sign your thyroid might be sluggish. If it stays brown for days, your body has plenty. When you combine the bay oil, the salt vacuum, and the iodine grid, you have a masterpiece. The heat pulls, the oil cleans, the iodine heals. Put on a pair of loose cotton socks, get into bed, and feel like the smartest, richest woman in the world. Because your health doesn't rely on expensive insurance or fancy clinics. It relies on your own 2 hands and Mother Nature. While you sleep, your body will be doing a deep spring cleaning. Now, I need to be brutally honest with you. I need to tell you exactly what to expect over the next 2 weeks, because I know how we are. You'll do it twice, look at your ankle, say, "It didn't work," and throw the sock in the laundry. Days 1 and 2, the visual swelling will not disappear completely. 3 years of edema doesn't vanish in 48 hours, but you will feel a difference. The deep, throbbing ache will quiet down. The skin on your shins will feel softer to the touch, not smaller, softer. That means the salt has started breaking up the solid water blocks. Days 3 and 4, don't panic, but your legs might feel slightly more full. This is actually a great sign. It means the stagnant lymph has finally been dislodged and is moving up the pipes. It's like stirring up mud at the bottom of a pond before it filters out. Keep going. Day 5, this is the day I saw my ankle bones. You will wake up, step on the floor, and your skin won't feel tight. When you press your finger in, the pit will bounce back almost instantly. Pro tip, take a picture of your ankles on day 1, so on day 5 you can prove to yourself it's working. Day 14, this is the real victory. Women who follow this faithfully write to me and say, "Val, I wore my favorite closed-toe pumps to church for the first time in 5 years. I walked the whole mall without resting." But a quick medical disclaimer: if you have congestive heart failure, severe kidney disease, or are on strict doctor-ordered fluid restrictions, please tell your doctor you are doing this. Nature is powerful, but we must respect serious medical diagnoses. For everyone else, 14 days, every evening. Don't skip. But wait. There is one massive mistake you might be making during the day that will ruin all this hard nighttime work. Here it is, the reason women do the compress, see results, and then the swelling comes roaring back by 5 p.m. They aren't drinking enough water. You're probably thinking, "Val, I'm already full of water. Why would I drink more?" I used to think the exact same thing. I limited myself to 2 glasses a day. It is the biggest myth in the world. Remember the river. What happens to a river if it stops raining? It dries up, the mud thickens, and it turns into a swamp. When you restrict water, your lymph fluid becomes thick and sticky, like syrup. Syrup doesn't flow through tubes, it sits in your ankles. When you drink plenty of water, your lymph thins out and flows fast, carrying the garbage straight to your kidneys to be flushed. You don't need a gallon a day, just about 50 to 60 ounces, about 6 to 8 glasses of room temperature water throughout the day. Sip it, don't chug it. Stop drinking heavy after 6 p.m. so you don't wake up to pee all night. But here is a secret booster, a drink that multiplies our salt compress by 10. Parsley tea. Yes, a bunch of fresh parsley from the produce section for 99 cents. Parsley contains a natural compound called apiol. It acts as a gentle, natural diuretic for the kidneys. It opens the filters without stripping your potassium and giving you leg cramps like pharmacy pills do. Recipe? Take a handful of fresh parsley, stems and all. Chop it roughly, put it in a pot with a quart of water. Bring to a boil, then simmer on low for 10 minutes. Strain it. Drink half a cup 3 times a day, about 30 minutes before your meals. It tastes a bit earthy, like a garden, but by day 3, your body will literally crave it because it feels so good. You attack the swelling from the outside with the salt and from the inside with the parsley, a total cost of maybe $5. But before we finish, we have to talk about the saboteur hiding in your fridge right now.
My friends, I'm about to say something that might break your heart a little, but it has to be said. It's about the food on our kitchen counters. Remember, salt is a magnet for water. We think we are being good by not using the salt shaker, but we are secretly eating 5 times the daily limit of sodium without even knowing it. I call it invisible salt. Breakfast. You make a sandwich with regular store-bought white or wheat bread. 1 slice of commercial bread has a massive amount of sodium. You add a slice of processed cheese, like American cheese singles, more salt. You add 2 slices of deli turkey or ham, pure salt bombs. Lunch, a can of chicken noodle soup. Have you read the label? 1 can is practically your whole daily limit of sodium. Ketchup, mayonnaise, salad dressings, all packed with hidden salt. So you do your beautiful salt compress at night, draw the water out, and then wake up and eat a deli meat sandwich with canned soup for lunch. The magnet turns back on and the water rushes right back to your ankles. I am not telling you to eat plain lettuce. I love a good ham sandwich, but here are my 3 rules. Rule 1. Swap the processed bread and pasta for a baked potato with the skin on. Potatoes are packed with potassium, which naturally pushes sodium out of your body. Rule 2. If you want to eat something salty, like bacon or a pickle, eat it at breakfast or lunch. Your kidneys are active during the day and will flush it out. Never eat salty foods for dinner. It will settle in your legs overnight. Rule 3. After a salty meal, drink a glass of warm water with a squeeze of fresh lemon. Lemon helps your body neutralize the salt load. Morning, a little salt is okay. Evening, 0 salt. But even if you do all this, there is one physical thing you must do, or the water will stay trapped, and it only takes 5 minutes in bed.
The final piece of the puzzle. Why some women do everything right but still swell up. They don't move. Now hold on, do not tune out. I am not telling you to go to the gym. At our age, with bad knees and aching backs, the gym sounds like a nightmare. Remember what I said earlier. The lymphatic system doesn't have a heart to pump it. The only way lymph moves is when your muscles squeeze it.
If you sit in a recliner all day, the water has no way to move. But you can pump that lymph lying flat on your back in bed. I call it the lazy wall pose. It's actually a yoga move, but anyone can do it. Before you even get out of bed in the morning, shimmy your hips to the wall or your headboard and put your legs straight up the wall. They don't have to be perfectly straight, just higher than your heart. Lay there for 5 minutes. Gravity does the work. The water that pooled in your feet all night will literally drain down your legs into your core, where your kidneys can process it. You'll feel a slight tingling in your toes. That's the circulation waking up. While your legs are up there, rotate your ankles. 10 circles to the left, 10 circles to the right. Scunch your toes up and fan them out. That's it. 5 minutes of this is better than a 30-minute walk for your lymph. And during the day, if you're sitting watching your favorite TV shows, just keep your toes on the floor and pump your heels up and down, 20 times. Squeeze those calf muscles. Your calves are the heart of your legs. My husband watches me doing it and says, "Valerie, why are you fidgeting?" I say, "I'm healing, honey. Leave me alone." 5 minutes in bed and heel pumps at the TV. Easy. Now, let's put this all together into a daily schedule you can put on your fridge.
Let's put it all into a simple daily routine. Write this down or take a picture of the screen. Morning, wake up, put your legs up the wall for 5 minutes, rotate your ankles. Get out of bed, go to the kitchen, drink a glass of warm water with lemon. 30 minutes later, drink half a cup of your parsley tea. Eat a low-sodium breakfast, oatmeal or an egg with a baked potato. Afternoon, drink water steadily. Do your heel pumps while sitting and watching TV or reading. Drink another half cup of your parsley tea before lunch. If you're going to eat something salty, do it now, not later. Evening, very little water after 6 p.m. Light, low-salt dinner. At 8 p.m., heat your coarse salt in the skillet. Put it in the cotton sock. Add a teaspoon of your homemade bay leaf oil. Apply it to your ankle, wrap it with a wool scarf. Sit and relax for 40 minutes. Listen to some music or call your kids. Remove the compress. Draw your iodine grid on the skin with a Q-tip. Put on loose socks and go to sleep. Every day, your legs will get lighter and lighter and lighter. Let's look at the cost of a 2-week protocol. Bay leaves, $2, coarse salt, $3, olive oil, already in your pantry, parsley, $2, iodine, $3, lemon, $1. Total cost, about $11. $11. That's cheaper than one co-pay at the doctor's office, cheaper than one bottle of dangerous water pills. Nature doesn't overcharge us. She just waits for us to pay attention. My lovely ladies, we made it to the end. Thank you for spending this time with me. I know some of you are listening while cooking dinner, and some of you are sitting with aching legs, wondering if this will actually work. It will. I know it not from a textbook, but from my own 2 feet. But I want to say one last thing, and it has nothing to do with salt or recipes. Do you know why our legs swell so much? Because we have spent our entire lives standing. We stood at the stove cooking for our families. We stood rocking, crying babies at 2 a.m.
We stood in lines. We stood at our jobs. We carried the weight of our children, our husbands, our aging parents, the bills, the worries. We carried it all on our legs. And now our legs are simply saying, enough. Please sit down. Take care of me for a minute. Your swelling is not a punishment. It's your body asking for a little bit of love and attention. When you sit in your chair tonight and wrap that warm aromatic salt around your ankle, you are finally saying to your body, you are important. I am here for you now. I am in my 70s. I have buried my husband. I raised my kids. I battled illnesses I thought would break me. But I am standing here in shoes that have laces, pain-free. Not because I got lucky, but because I didn't give up on myself. Do not give up. Your golden years are meant for living, not suffering in a recliner. Before you go, I have a favor to ask. 3 simple things. First, go down to the comments and type just one word. Tell me what part of your body hurts the most right now. Knees, back, digestion? I read every single comment and I build my next videos based on exactly what you need. This is your channel, not mine. Second, if this video brought you hope, hit the like button. Not for my ego, but because YouTube will show this to another woman out there who is crying in her bathroom over her swollen legs, and your like will help her find this recipe. Third, hit subscribe. I am here every week with cheap, natural, real solutions. No medical jargon, just grandmother's wisdom. Next week, I am doing a video on knee pain. I'm going to show you why your knees aren't hurting because of old age, but because your cartilage is starving for one specific nutrient. And I'll show you the 99-cent grocery store item that rebuilds it. You will be shocked when you see what it is. Make sure you don't miss it. Now go to your kitchen, crush some bay leaves into a jar of oil and tell yourself, I am starting today. I love you all. See you next week. Yours, Valerie.